Alright, so before I start, I would like to introduce this game briefly. It's Mickey Speedway USA, and it's a game developed by Rareware, one of the latest releases back in 2000. And it's based on a Diddy Kong racing engine, but it's an entirely different game. So, ready? 3, 2, 1, go! So a little background information. So I'm basically gonna play the professor during the speedrun. And it's a character that was made as a joke, I think, because his max speed was about 5 dots, his handling is 1, and his acceleration is 1, meaning he's incredibly hard to control. But throughout the speedrun, I'm gonna make it seem like it's I'm doing this with ease. So the reason why we are playing the time trails category for the speedrun is because there is a sort of rubber band effect when you play the professional stuff. The reason is if you're too much ahead, the CPU will start putting bad items on you, making you slow down. So in this time trail category, there is basically no RNG, and it's really heavy on just optimizing every little step. Okay, so that's within 1 second of the world record. And it is also a little bit risky to play this character, because if I crash into anything, I might not get up to max speed again. One thing to notice with this game is that the last slide that I did, for instance, it was going up the slope, and when I slide up the slope, I will preserve more speed. Same thing, the reverse happens as well. When there's a downward slope and I slide against it, I will also gain a little bit of speed. So you'll see these utilized during the whole run in different parts. I'm now the sole owner of all the world record in this game, and this last year alone I've spent about 250 hours playing this game. So I'm gonna be playing the professor throughout most of the speedrun, and then for the last 6 levels I'm gonna play 3 with Pete and then 3 with Huey. This is because the levels are too hard to be played by Ludwig, because they have so many turns. There I use some of the downward slope mechanic in order to go a little bit faster in the end. There is a short trick you can do on this course. By jumping in this last corner over the sand and then jumping again, you will preserve max speed through the finish line. But it's really hard to pull off, and I might attempt it on the last lap, because then I won't lose too much time if I fail. There I used downwards slope trick again to gain a little bit more speed. And some of you might think, oh, what does the coins do in this game? With the professor, the coins doesn't actually do anything. Your max speed is always going to be 150. But with Pete and Huey, there are specific point routes you can do in order to pick up 10 points and therefore gain a little bit more max speed. I'll attempt the trick now. I almost got it.
This is all mixed up.
Okay, here comes the longest level in the game, and most of it is pretty consistent, but there is also an S-turn that's really hard. So, kind of the first trick that's a little bit hard to pull off in this game, or this category. Here it comes. Kind of safe, but that's what you need in this category. By jumping in, sometimes mid-air, you can basically gain a little bit more air. That's what I did in the beginning to jump over a rough part where you would otherwise lose speed. That was really safe, but yeah, whatever.
Finished! Woohoo! This is all mixed up.
Now here comes a pretty straightforward level. And in order to stay really tight in the corners, I'm going to use the brake. It's actually fairly good. Moving on to Alaska. This course can be a little bit tricky, and I'm also going to be pulling off a pretty hard strat. Like the first curve is really tight. And then towards the finish, there's an ice part, and it's going to be a little bit slippery. I actually failed it. Okay. There comes the staff ghost. Alright. Might have to restart this level. There we go. On this track, in practice, I was close once on getting to the leaderboard while doing speed runs, and it actually, from a category point of view, it's actually worse because then I would have to enter my initials if I'm going fast enough to beat my personal records. Of course, that won't happen now because I've optimized this a little even further. On this one, we're gonna do a little bit of a shortcut coming up here. That trick is really tight. On the last lap, I'm gonna attempt to do a little bit of a glitch. So the end finish line, it extends further than the actual road. So I'm gonna try to hit the finish line from mid-air by using the shortcut jump. Got it. That was really solid.
This is all mixed up.
Up next is the shortest course in this speedrun or the game. Wow, that's a really good run. The world record is about 30 something hundreds better. Moving on to Seattle. This is one of my favorite courses. Very close to the 102. So the world record is about 102.50, I believe. So here's one of the hardest levels in the game. That's because the ghost is kind of optimized. So if you make one bad turn, you might end up losing to the ghost. Alright, so I'm... Vad sa du? Ja. Alright, we seem to have had some technical difficulties. So I'll start my run from New York again, and I'll just redo the level. So you can start it now. See, the ghost is really optimized on this level. Very good last lap.
This is our mix
Chicago is one of the harder levels in the game, and I will doing a little bit of a conservative strat on this level. The world record routes is a little bit too hard to do during a speed run. That's pretty good.
This is our mix
So moving on to Yellowstone. This is one of the shortest tracks in the game, but it's pretty precise and involves a lot of technical stuff. Whoa, nice.
This is our mix
So now I'll do Everglades, and until a few years ago we were doing this level with Huey, but now we figured out a pretty consistent way to play it with Ludwig as well. Wow, that was actually a really nice first lap. That's decent. Last lap was pretty shit.
Pieces are mixed up.
So now I'll play New Orleans, and this is one of the riskier levels in this run. It's the only level where the staff coast is actually Ludwig, and both entering and leaving the boat is pretty tight. Nice. Alright, now we're gonna change character. So I'll play Washington, D.C. The world record time trials is with Ludwig in this case, but for a time trials speedrun, it's way better to play as Pete or Goofy. It's way inconsistent with the professor. That's a pretty tight run. Nice.
This ain't right.
Next track is also run. The world record is run with the professor. I was debating whether I should do it during this run, but I figured it's a little bit too risky. So we'll do Pete here as well. Still not a very easy level. I'm gonna do a coin route here, pick up some extra coins, and then I'll go faster for the 200 laps. and 16 is pretty good. So now we're moving on to probably the hardest level in the game. And if you ever try to get the medals and beat all the staff goals in this game, you know that this is probably one of the toughest. Not because the ghost is strong, but the level is ridiculously hard to get through without bumping or doing anything wrong, falling down, for instance. Last lap was pretty bad, but second lap was awesome. Now we're gonna change characters again for the last 3 levels. And in case you haven't seen this character in the game, that's probably because you haven't unlocked him by using the transfer pack from the Game Boy version. So moving on to more sunny places. Hawaii. By laying on the grass that way, we get to a higher max speed. It saves a little bit of time. really bad time on this level, but still faster than the ghost.
This isn't fun.
Det här är sista banan. So this is the last level in this game. Time. So thanks for letting me run this during DreamHack. It's been awesome.